Well, hello, writers. Welcome to episode number 426 of another bonus mini episode, which I'm going to fill your podcatcher with for the next, I don't know, 16 days or something like that. I am talking to the most exciting, most wonderful people about getting unstuck, which directly relates to, you may never have heard about it, my new memoir, Unstuck, an audacious hunt for happiness and home. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Tomorrow we will go back to having an interview with somebody fabulous. It's so fun that I am talking to these people. But today I thought I would share with you one chapter. It's chapter 3. It's about us starting to pack up. It's about how you decide what to take with you when you leave your entire life behind. And I'm editing the audio right now, which just takes forever. And in fact, on chapter 3, I lost all my work, hours of work, and just due to a computer glitch, which led me to find a better program to use. But so I've now heard this 6 times, something like that. So I have been enjoying it. Even 6 times in, I'm still kind of enjoying listening to it. So I thought maybe you would enjoy listening to it. First, however, I'm going to give you a blooper. The reason it takes so long to edit audio is that no one does it perfectly. And sometimes you can't do the words that you wrote. You wrote them, you never thought that they would be that hard to say. There are times when I have gone back into the document, which I try not to do because then I will introduce errors. It's already been copy edited, etc. But I'll go back into the manuscript and change the words because I can't say them. I thought I was going to have to do that with this. So please enjoy the little blooper first, and then there will be the chapter from the book. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy this audio version. If you've never heard me read from my audiobooks, I sure love doing it. It is a passion project of mine. It is so fun for me to do. So if you would like to check out the Kickstarter after you listen to this, and of course you'll be dying for the next chapter, isn't that right? Look at me marketing. You can go to rachaelherron.com/unstuck or just Google Rachael Herron Unstuck. It pops right up. And here we go. Here's the blooper, followed immediately by the actual thing. Enjoy. So I sell my cherished desk. Why do I write these things? So I sell my cherished desk. So I sell my cherished desk to a. So I sell my cherished desk. So I sell my. So I sell. She sells by the seashore. So I sell my cherished desk to a woman who says she's a cousin of Emily Dickinson. Chapter 3. Where are the grown-ups? In front of the U-Haul store, Lala and I step out of my car and gaze up at the orange sign. As we take our first shaky steps forward, I reach for Lala's hand. She squeezes back. My sweaty hand is slick in hers. Then we enter. We buy moving boxes. Okay, confession, we only buy 5 book boxes and 5 small boxes. We say this is because we're not sure how many boxes will fit in my smart car. But the truth is we're still scared. We need a grown-up to tell us how to do this. There's no way we can be the grown-ups. At home, I fill the first box with books. My hands tremble as the tape screeches off its roll. I seal the lid, not to be opened until we're in a foreign country, in a new home I can't yet visualize. I don't even know how to get the box there, wherever there ends up being. Shit, I don't even know how to get us there yet. We now only have 5.5 months to enter New Zealand, but pandemic red tape is keeping us from buying plane tickets. To enter New Zealand, it's not enough to be a New Zealand citizen, partner, child, or critical worker. There are also 14 mandatory days of quarantine to go through in specialized hotels set up near major airports. We can't buy a plane ticket to New Zealand unless we can prove we've booked a quarantine hotel reservation. But, no surprise, all the expat Kiwis are trying to leave the pandemic-riddled countries they've been living in and get home. Every time the managed isolation and quarantine, MIQ, hotels open new slots, they're snapped up in minutes. I join a Facebook group that posts when anyone sees spaces, but even that doesn't help. The demand is just too high. I'm complaining about this to Lala one afternoon in my office. Look, I'll show you. I pull up the site, log in, and click on the calendar. All those red boxes? Those days are all full, and you never see green boxes. There's a green box. Is that an open date? Asks Lala. I've looked at this page 1,000 times. This is my first green box sighting. It can't be. Looks open to me. Holy crap, but it's for July. We don't have to enter until end of August. I hear what I'm saying, and so does Lala. Should we book it? I have no air in my lungs. And leave in 4 months? Is that even possible? I don't know, is it? How are we supposed to decide that? In my head, I say, where is the grown-up we can ask? Lala shrugs, and I feel the motion of her shoulders in the pit of my soul. I move my computer mouse in small circles. I hit reserve just to see what it will ask me. After several clicks and 2 tick boxes that say I understand what I'm reserving, we have an MIQ slot. We also have a code that I can now enter at Air New Zealand to buy plane tickets. I suck in a breath. All my courage has pooled in the bottoms of my feet, and before it drains away entirely, we look at Air New Zealand's seat selection for one of the 2 flights a week that leave from San Francisco. Holy shit, I breathe as I click the buy button. Next to me, Lala's breathing is as shallow as my own. One-way tickets. Purchased. Time then passes at both a gallop and a standstill. 4 months to go. Then 3.5. I pack boxes. Lala packs boxes. We yell at each other at least once a day about where the packing tape is until I buy a 10-pack. And even then, we can never find the tape guns. We haven't done this before. Not once. When we bought this house 15 years ago, we moved into it together from our separate apartments. Turns out that moving sucks donkey balls. Our house has exploded into boxes and piles of things to make decisions about. So many piles of things. So many decisions. What do we take? What do we sell or donate? We've finally decided how to get our things to New Zealand. Using a company that ships single pallets of goods around the world, we'll put 1 pallet or 100 cubic feet of goods on a ship. This isn't much at all. It's a cube about 4.5 feet wide. Trying to cull a very full 1,100 square foot, 3-bedroom house into just what fits onto 1 pallet is an intense feat of advanced decision-making. With that in mind, we hold things in our hands, and even if they spark so much joy they cough up little rainbows, we still have to contort ourselves into judges, handing down life and death verdicts. We won't bring a single drinking glass that doesn't have a truly delightful story attached to it. Lala's butt-ugly octopus fruit bowl is spared the death sentence and will come with us. God help us all. My beloved roll-top desk can't come, obviously. We're bringing no furniture except my hope chest, which is, after all, just another box to fill. So I sell my cherished desk to a woman who says she's a cousin of Emily Dickinson 6 times removed. When she arrives to pick it up, she's so annoying with her screeches of joy and unwelcome hugs that I hope she's lying about the Emily connection. I feel terrible for betraying my desk and battle back both tears and the words, "You can't have it." Nausea rises as I watch her van drive away, and when I viciously stub my toe on my way into the house, I'm glad for the excuse to cry. We pack, and we pack, and we get rid of things. It turns out that my smart car can hold approximately 11 billion boxes and bags. Normally, I wouldn't darken the Salvation Army's doors as they hate the gays and offer conversion help, but apparently the combination of the pandemic and the launch of the television show The Home Edit means that thrift stores in the Bay Area have mostly stopped taking donations of any kind. The Salvation Army is the only exception to this, and yes, I will betray my morals to rid myself of these mountains of objects, books, and clothes. The guy who works the bins at the back of the downtown Oakland Salvation Army gets the biggest kick out of seeing what I can pull out of my car. He calls his guys out of the warehouse every time I pull up. "She's here! Come look at this chick in her car! You're not gonna believe this! How does she do this, man?" It's easier for me than for Lala, this decluttering. I love pretty things and books and yarn and candles, but getting rid of things has always given me a sweet, sharp high. I read about minimalism like it's porn, something to keep hidden in the cluttered bedside drawer. Fantasies better not acted on, but titillating all the same. It's much harder for Lala. She's a pack rat and lover of objects, a save-it-just-in-case kind of person. Once upon a time, she will tell you, she had a ticket to see Prince. When he canceled the show, the tickets were still valid for the next year's show. But Lala's was lost in an accidental throwout, and she says this is why she keeps old twist ties and cords that haven't been plugged into anything for decades. But since visiting her father's cluttered home, I look at her groaning shelves and think about apples and trees. Something Lala has missed in lockdown is going to Target, just to look at things. "Stuff," she says. "Stuff and things. I miss items." Her office holds much more than it should be able to, as if she's bent space somehow over the years. Each item is precious to her, with its own story and import. Leaving behind things she loves is breaking her heart. With difficulty, she has culled art supplies and action figures, musical instruments, and electronics. But when she decides not to bring most of her comic books, the look on her face as she chooses what to let go makes me want to weep. I ask as gently as I can, "Do you want me to take them to the thrift store for you?" We've already sold all the books that we could to used bookshops, including online. No one wants these ones, not even the trade paperback omnibuses. She nods, unable to meet my eyes. I take her boxes, and she retreats into her office, shutting the door with a quiet click. At the back of the Salvation Army, I get in the drive-through line again. 2 cars can pull up at the same time, allowing their drivers to dump unwanted possessions into huge bins marked books or kitchen or furniture. The boss sees my car in line and hollers for his workers to come out and ogle how much I'll pull out of my car this time. I check out the car in front of me. The woman is cheerfully upending box after box into the bins. Her partner, on the other hand, is peering into the bins with a hopeful look on his face. And he is a nerd. He's wearing a Commander Shepard hoodie. Lala has one just like it. And there's a Deep Space Nine bumper sticker on the back of their car. "Hey," I call to him. "Do you like comics?" His whole face brightens. But this is the big city, so his voice is careful. "Why?" "We're moving to New Zealand. My wife has to get rid of all of hers." "Really? Can I see?" His voice isn't careful anymore, and as he pokes through the boxes, it's clear he desperately wants every single one. I help him carry them to his car, where his partner is pissed. "Are you serious? This was our weekend to get rid of stuff, not to bring home more." I feel no remorse, and it's obvious he doesn't either. We pantomime giving each other a giddy high five, and then we drive away. At home, I tell Lala I didn't have to pour her comics into a giant book bin. Her gratitude is a paper cut, sliced across my heart. With only 2 months to go, we've finally finished most of the clearing out. Now the plan is to finish packing the rest of the house this weekend. Then we'll get rid of everything that's left, except a few essential pieces of furniture that will stay in place until the very last minute. Our bed, our couch, the dining table, 2 chairs. My voice echoes and bounces off the empty walls. Lala is not a fan of my new minimalist intercom. On Monday, our handy person will come in and fix all the things and paint the interior. Jose has already painted the yellow exterior an excruciatingly boring pale gray that's apparently all the rage. Embarrassment floods us every time we pull up in front of the house. We aren't gray people. We are yellow people. We love reds, oranges. This gray paint is called San Francisco fog, but actual fog has way more personality than this chalky ash color. After Jose covers the interior yellow and orange walls with a similarly popular and equally dispiriting gray or bisque or pearl, we will get the bedrooms recarpeted, hire the inspection, and get the staging done. The house we've lived in will go up for sale, taking with it a sizable chunk of our hearts. That said, we're hoping it will sell quickly in this market that people are constantly telling us is hot, hot, hot. Although the idea of a superheated market is enough to make my stomach hurt. And then what? We don't know. We'll be in some weird limbo while the house is for sale. Someone's coming to see it, run away. But it's still a pandemic. Hide someplace safe. Then, if it sells before we depart, will we be able to rent back from the new owner until we move? Will we find an Airbnb? Squat in the unoccupied downstairs unit at my sister's apartment building? I drop into bed every night exhausted, my lids fluttering shut, only to snap open a few minutes later as my lists of undone things flash in my brain like neon tequila signs on a dark back road. The sheer gall of what we're doing washes over me in cold waves at least a couple of times a day. One night, Lala goes out to jam with some musician friends. When she gets home, she says, "Diana said we were really brave." Diana is a smart woman, and I agree with her. But Lala's face looks weird, almost confused, so I say, "Well, yeah. Don't you think it takes bravery to move halfway around the world?" "I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it." Surprise rockets through my chest. "Oh my God, it's all I think about. You haven't been scared?" She pales. "Not until now, no. I was only worried about being cold." Great. Now we're both terrified. For the last 3 days, I've been practicing keeping Lala warm, heating the house way past my comfort level. I spend most of my waking hours in my office, and if I close my door and cover the heating vent with a collection of blankets and pillows, I can keep my office as cool as the side of a refrigerator while the rest of the house shimmers like a desert road in the sun. Lala finally realizes the house has been consistently warm enough for her to wear just a t-shirt, no sweatshirt needed. "You've been running the heat more than you usually do." I smile. "Are you warm enough?" Instead of being grateful, she says, "Are you being passive-aggressive?" "Please, as if." Okay, I'm not above being passive aggressive on a bad day, but in this case, I'm not. I say, you will not be cold in New Zealand. If we have to buy 3 space heaters and sit you in the middle of them all winter long, you won't be cold. I've been trying to demonstrate that I'm serious about this promise. You've been heating the house for 1 day. 3 days, I correct her. And remember, we won't rent a place unless we're confident that the heat pump works, whatever that is. Here's the thing. We both want to go to New Zealand. We both think it's a good idea. So many people want to go, but we're actually able to. But our fears are big and real. And what I have to remember is every time I downplay one of her fears, I'm not listening to the person I chose to spend my life with. I'm not listening to the person I'm in love with. That's not okay. So in this late Oakland winter, I will continue to wear a tank top and shorts inside in order to reassure Lala that she never has to be cold again. With each box I close and each bag I discard, I'm dismantling the life I've so carefully built. I lose my breath at least once a day, shocked by the brutal blow of it. When will we be home again? I keep the fan pointed directly at my face, and I cross off the days on my printed out calendar. For the 1000th time, I reread Anais Nin's quote I've written at the bottom of the page. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. I haven't printed out the blank months that come after the move yet. I'm not sure when, or even if, I will.